What's going on, guys? This is your boy Rick here, my way back at it again. Bruh, I am done with the NBA. I'm done. I'm done. I cannot. I'm gonna let this guy speak for me because at this point, I might as well make NHL content because I'm just so done with the NBA. It is not the game that I once fell in love with. It's not the game that I felt. Um, it's just not the same. I'm just so done. Um, anyway, I'm gonna let this dude speak for me on why I feel the way I do because he made this video about a year ago, and it kind of describes like the way the NBA is going as opposed to where hockey is going because I think the difference in the two leagues have been drastic. I'm saying drastic. Like the viewership in the NHL is not even that bad compared to the NBA. The viewership is actually dropping. It's dropping, dude, and it's so bad. Um, so I'm gonna let him kind of explain, and then I'll give you my thoughts on just everything. Cause, bro, I'm just done at this point. So I'm gonna let him take over.
So with these two things happening at the same time, a lot of people who are frustrated with the NBA are now kind of going to the NHL because they see the NHL is doing a lot of things right that the NBA is doing wrong. So let's talk about that in this video. Now, if y'all have been watching the channel, you know that I have been advocating for the sport of hockey for a very long time. I've made a video like a year or two ago talking about why it's great. Like I've made several videos talking about why people should watch hockey. So it's great to see that it's kind of popping off right now. But if you've watched this channel, you also know I'm from Indianapolis. I'm a basketball guy. Basketball, football are the two first sports that I fell in love with because I'm from Indianapolis. That is the heart of basketball country. In the state of Indiana, no sport comes close to basketball. It just has this aura about it that like basketball is almost like the American dream. Like every kid growing up, you play YMCA youth league or church league or something. You want to go to the NBA. You want to play on your high school team. You want to play for IU or Purdue or Butler or Ball State. You know, like basketball is the thing that every boy wants to do, and a lot of girls now, like every kid wants to play basketball. Basketball is the thing. And growing up in the 2000s and the 2010s, there was nothing even close to it because you had the Pacers being great, going up against the Heat and LeBron and all those guys. I mean, the playoffs had this style and this flair about it. There was like every intro had a theme song and it was like sung by the actual singer. It wasn't a remake. We're talking it was sung by the original singer. I mean, and every team had a different play style. And you had guys that were mid-range specialists, which is basically dead now. Like there was so much more variation and just a lot more entertainment value in the NBA. The league was just so different back then. There was more variation. It felt different. And I really doubt that the NHL ever overtakes the NBA. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And if it does, it's going to be way down the line. But I do think that in the near future, the NHL could rival the NBA. And those two leagues could kind of be at a similar level with each other as opposed to having this huge gap. One of the things that plays a huge role in that is the way that NHL media works and the way that NBA media works. See, the NBA media is much more focused on like the same 5 teams. You've got the Lakers, the Warriors, the Celtics, sometimes the Heat, sometimes the Knicks. They're always focused on East and West Coast teams. That's the main thing. When it comes to everybody else, they just kind of don't care. I mean, I'm a Pacers fan, as y'all know. I watched the Pacers-Knicks series, obviously. The ESPN coverage of the Pacers-Knicks series was horrendous. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. It felt like they talked about the Pacers maybe once every 10 minutes, and they were winning the games. They won the series. It was maddening. It was terrible. Whereas the NHL media still has favorite teams, but those favorite teams are in places like Montreal and Detroit. It's not just East and West Coast. You've got Canada and the Midwest. I mean, you've also got Minnesota. You've got other places that are big hockey markets that aren't just on the East and West Coast. So you involve the Midwest in there. You involve Canada because hockey, that's Canada's sport. And players want to go there. Players want to come to Detroit. For people that don't watch the NHL and don't watch hockey, they would be really confused when NHL players and hockey players say all the good stuff about Detroit. Because in the NBA, places like Indianapolis, Detroit, Cleveland, those places are treated like third world countries. People act like there isn't clean water and you're going to get shot just by walking outside your door. Whereas NHL media treats Detroit kind of like it's a city on a hill, you know, because the Red Wings are super successful and they're an Original Six franchise and players want to come and play there and be a part of the history. I mean, putting on the winged wheel is almost like putting on Yankee pinstripes for hockey, so it's a big deal. And NHL media just works differently. It's evenly distributed for the most part. The way that the NHL media works is refreshing. It feels better. It's more rewarding as a fan than the NBA. And then you also have the parody of the NHL compared to the NBA. In the NBA, it's much more ring culture, more super teams, more guys leaving, getting traded, signing with teams that they think are going to help them win a championship. When James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant all went to Brooklyn. When Bosh, Wade, and LeBron all went to Miami. Now, what the Lakers are doing with LeBron and Luka Doncic. You also had the really failed super team of Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. I remember when people thought that team was going to be nice. I mean, they kind of were, but they got nowhere near close to being a dynasty. Whereas in the NHL, you still have super teams kind of, but teams are built much more through the draft than trades and free agency. And players like Connor McDavid, Alexander Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, all those guys have never played for another team other than the one that drafted them. McDavid's always been in Edmonton, Sidney Crosby's always been in Pittsburgh, and Alexander Ovechkin has always been in Washington, D.C. And not only is that good for fans, it's good for brand identity, kind of, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. By having the superstars of your game mainly be in one jersey for most of their career, it helps, in my opinion. But fans like it because they can count on Alexander Ovechkin's not just going to leave overnight. He's not just going to wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm done. I don't like this anymore. Trade me to LA. Trade me to Anaheim. Like, that's not really going to happen. It's just not something that goes on in the NHL. You obviously still have stars that get traded and signed and stuff. I mean, Patrick Kane, one of the biggest names in hockey, got traded to New York and now he's in Detroit. But that was towards the tail end of his career. That was not like, oh, he's 29 years old. No, that's when he's like 33. So it's towards the down part of his career. He's still great. He's still Patrick Kane. He's still Showtime. But he's not what he was winning Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks. Through most of his prime, really all of his prime, he was in Chicago. He was with the Blackhawks. And that's just something that I think fans like a lot more compared to the NBA, where you can wake up one day and it's just like, oh, this player that I've bought like 3 of his jerseys and I've supported him his whole career, he's gone. Again, that stuff still happens, but it's just more rare and it's just not something you do. It's kind of frowned upon almost in the NHL. Hockey players are a lot more prideful and a lot more loyal in the city that they play in. And it doesn't matter if it's Winnipeg or Detroit or you're in Florida or you're in New York. That's something that it's refreshing. It's a breath of fresh air compared to the NBA. And it feels less corporate. The NHL has a much more personal feel between fans and players and teams. Whereas the NBA, as I've gotten older, has gotten a lot more corporate. And they've separated themselves. And there's this huge disconnect between fans, players, and teams. Just because of how much money there is in it now and the surge in popularity that the sport has gotten, it's changed a lot for the worse when it comes to fan experience and accessibility and that type of stuff. It just doesn't feel as alive as it did. Whereas the NHL, it's always felt like that. I mean, the NHL, especially right now, there's so much parody and the NHL always feels alive. Like, I've never really felt that the league is dying or it's dead or it's boring. Obviously, another big difference that people are pointing out, hockey players play through a lot of injuries. Just wait until the season's over and the playoffs are over and just read the list of injuries that guys were playing through in the playoffs. It is insane. Whereas in the NBA, more and more stars are taking games off for load management. Their knee's a little sore. And this is kind of an old head take. It doesn't sound the greatest because there are a lot of guys that play through injury in the NBA. Everybody's banged up, everybody's hurt. It's a professional sport. Guys are in pain all the time. But the difference is when you buy a ticket, like I'm a Red Wings fan, if I buy a ticket, I know that, if I bought it a week before the game and Dylan Larkin's not hurt, I know Dylan Larkin's going to play. Whereas if you buy a ticket to go see the Lakers and it's game 78, they've already clinched a playoff spot, and they're playing the Atlanta Hawks. LeBron's probably not going to play. And not even because he's really hurt, it's going to be because of load management. So for fans, it's another thing where fans are really influenced by this type of stuff. And as a fan, it's really cool to know your star's going to play even if the game doesn't matter. Still matters. It's a regular season game. It counts towards your record. When it comes to hockey players, the level of competitiveness is way higher in the regular season and in the playoffs and just throughout the whole sport compared to what's going on in the NBA. And as bad as it sounds, fans like it when guys tough out injuries. Fans like it when guys have gutsy performances. It's just kind of human nature. It's kind of American culture. We love underdogs. We love comeback stories. And hockey has a lot more than that right now than basketball. Does load management work? I have no clue. But I know in hockey, they're playing just as many games. You're playing 82 games. You have back-to-back. Not only do you have West Coast trips, but you have Western Canada trips where the weather is nowhere near as nice. It's cold. And these guys are having to go there and play hockey. And these guys aren't nearly as injured missing games as NBA players are. And I know it's a different sport, but hockey is a physically punishing game. I mean, you're getting hit a lot. You're taking pucks to the knee, to the arm, to the face, to the ear, to the mouth, to your ankle. Not saying basketball isn't a tough sport. These guys, those guys tough things out all the time. I'm not trying to be that guy that's like, hockey's the only real sport, football, hockey, MMA, those contact, physical, punching, whatever, that's the only real sport. No. I mean, in the NBA, guys' knees and ankles and feet are just getting absolutely tore up throughout the course of a year. But so are hockey players. And the NHL doesn't have this problem. And then, you have things like divisions where in hockey, divisions matter because the top 3 divisional teams guaranteed a playoff spot with 2 wildcard spots. Whereas in the NBA, it's just straight up 6 best teams in the East get a playoff spot, and then 7, 8, 9, 10 play in for the last 2. So divisional games in the NBA don't really matter outside of the Eastern Conference Central Division, where everybody hates each other. Things like rivalries and divisional games mattering, the NHL has a lot more of that than the NBA. In the NHL, all of the original 6 teams hate each other, all the Canadian teams hate each other, all the divisional teams hate each other. Outside of those people on Twitter that have like 6 different teams that they like, just about everybody hates everybody in the NHL. Whereas in the NBA, outside of the team that you lost in the playoffs to last year, or maybe if you have a Giannis Antetokounmpo ball incident, you're not really going to have a rivalry, and it's very rare to have a long-standing rivalry.
Show your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful...
Listen, bro, I don't give a shit about that.
With another team. And then, you have the politics. I'm not going to talk about the politics. Politics are boring and stupid. Sports are fun and exciting. I'm not here to talk about politics with y'all. I'm just a regular dude. You're just a regular dude. We don't need to talk about politics. That divides people. Sports are supposed to bring people together. I'm not here to talk about the Four Nations tournament from a political standpoint and all that stuff. I think USA Canada would have had just as much energy behind it without politics because it's USA Canada. It's Canada's sport. It's Canada's game. They think that they're better than everybody at it. Whether it's the Russians, the Americans, the Swedes, the Germans, Finnish people, it doesn't matter. They think they're the best. And we're Americans. We think we're the best at everything, and we want to win everything. So those two things going up against each other, it's going to be a charged game. That fight, those 3 fights that were going to happen, would have happened anyways. It didn't matter about the national anthem getting booed. It doesn't matter about politics. That stuff would have happened anyway. So I'm not here to talk about that with y'all because that's stupid. But I think both of these leagues could really grow together if they just work together. I don't think the NBA and NHL are really ever going to work together, but if they did, it'd be pretty beneficial for both leagues. But as of right now, the NHL's coming up and the NBA needs to figure out something. I mean, it's not like it's going to crash overnight. I don't think they're going to have a NASCAR type incident where the sport's competing with football and then all of a sudden you're one of the least popular major sports. But they are going to have problems. As someone who loves basketball, loves hockey, y'all know me, I watch all different kinds of sports. And the Pacers, that's one of my first, Pacers, Colts, Red Wings, Tigers, Purdue. It's what I was born into. I don't have anything against the NBA. I don't have anything against the NHL. I love both the leagues. I love both of my teams that play in those leagues. So this isn't like hockey favoritism going on. This is just a fact that the NBA is not doing a good job right now. And the NHL isn't even doing a good job. But Gary Bettman is one of the worst commissioners in all of sports. That guy does more to hurt hockey than help it. But all it took was a week where the NBA had a terrible All-Star weekend and the NHL had Canada versus USA. And that's all it took to have the sports world talking about hockey. If I'm the NBA, I'd be kind of concerned about that. That's just me. Anyways, I'm Limitless Polls.
So basically, he explained the total difference of the NBA versus the NHL. And shout out to this dude because, bro, you did a phenomenal job a year ago explaining this shit. So I have never been the most in touch with the NHL because I just could never really get into it. But over the last I would say, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, I've slowly tried to get into it. I've watched it a little bit more than I have ever because of the competition. Basically, all what this dude said with the division on the line, the competition, basically the regular season being treated as such. Dude, you have in the NBA, obviously you're gonna have the wins and losses, but in the NHL, you're also gonna have their standing is a little bit different. So you can have I'm just gonna say Toronto, Boston, Montreal, right? And then you have Pittsburgh, Philly, Carolina, and maybe Detroit and Ottawa, right? So those could be that for the Eastern Conference, right? But in order to get where you gotta get to, you're also gonna have to not only win, but stack up points. There's a point system. If you have X amount of points, it tells you that you won the division, or you are the best team in the hockey, or you are the number 1 seed, and probably throughout the playoffs, the number 1 seed. Colorado, I think, had the most points this year? At 107, it was ridiculous. I was like, wow, that's impressive. But but there's actual competition. There's actual push and shoving. I don't like you, you might not like me, but I'm gonna bust your ass type shit. The Carolina Hurricanes, who I just watched tonight, who basically beat the shit out of Philly, basically suffocated them with the unbelievable defense that they were putting on. It was just amazing. And plus their goalie, who shut out Philadelphia for the entire game. It was just phenomenal to watch. Or even there are gonna be times where you're gonna see blowouts, but you're also gonna have teams that are gonna respond. But you're also not gonna see a whole lot of game 7s. In this postseason tomorrow, there's gonna be Montreal and Tampa Bay. Only one game 7 to decide who's gonna play Buffalo for the second round. You know, and when he says that the NBA is corporate, he's not wrong. I mean, there's a lot wrong with the NBA. Like, I don't like the officiating. I don't like the way that, the NBA forces games, and referees, former referees have come out and said, dude, they used to force game 4, 5, and 6 in like the Lakers Sacramento series when the Sacramento Kings had like by far the better roster than the Los Angeles Lakers. Like today, there should never been a game 7 for Philadelphia or Boston. There should have never been a game 6 for Lakers and Houston. There should have never been a game 7 for Cavs and Raptors. Should have never been a game 7 for Detroit and the Magic, because let's be honest, that was the same Orlando Magic squad that basically got beat to shit by the Boston Celtics. And the fact that there's a game 7 for both of those series is just ridiculous. I don't like games being forced. I don't like, the favoritism. Hell, when he's talking about the Knicks and the Pacers, like, oh, well, there's a whole lot of favoritism. Bro, there was a whole lot of favoritism for the 76ers. Like, dude, I remember watching one game, and the announcers were, like, all in on Philadelphia. Like, oh my god, he's playing amazing. Like, anytime Maxey scored or BJ Exum scored, they would lose their minds. But when it came to like Boston, they'd be like, okay, like he scores, sort of thing. Like it was just stupid. And then you have the media basically Stephen A. saying, "Oh, well, I hope the Knicks win and Boston goes to a game 7." What happened? The Knicks won and Boston went to a game 7. When you have shit like that, that's not enjoyable. You should be like talking about what the Sixers are doing well, as opposed to saying, "Oh, I hope this happens," or "I hope this happens." Like, it's stupid. Like, I'm watching, the NHL, and I'm basically watching how they're breaking down Anaheim's success, but hoping that Edmonton responds in a way that they should respond because of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and so many other guys on that roster. Even the Minnesota Wild, where they basically went toe to toe with the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars responded pretty well after getting blown out in the first game. They came out and responded. Like, you're gonna have off nights, you're gonna have beatdowns, but then you're also gonna have a team like the Carolina Panthers who went and basically swept Ottawa, or you're gonna have a team like Colorado who swept the Kings. Because listen, I'm not saying that Ottawa or the Kings are bad, but if you know that really they can't really hang with said teams, then it's like you should be like all surprised, or you should be like, oh, I hope this happens. Like, dude, like, first of all, and then you're letting, when I talk about the NBA refs, dude, like, look at the NHL refs. They're letting them play. Like, they're letting them play. Obviously, they don't interfere as much as the NBA refs, and that's just fun to watch. Like, they let them duke it out. They let them trash talk. They let them obviously do a whole lot of pushing and shoving. Obviously, not to get too out of hand. Like, you never want an incident like a stick to the face or just unnecessary type stuff to where it gets completely out of hand. Like, thank God it doesn't get to that point, because I don't know. I really want to see how that ends. But it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. Plus, I'm going to be honest with you. Watching these playoffs, watching every single playoff game from like Philly and Carolina to Dallas, Minnesota, and Montreal, Tampa, Buffalo, Boston. It's been fun to watch because it's like there's not that feel of, oh, okay, this is gonna be like, just complete destruction. You might get overmatched, you might get beat, but if the better team is the better team, then the better team is the better team. No, your team might not have responded the right way, but that doesn't mean you have to force a game. And I think that's what the NBA does. They have this agenda where it's like, oh, we want this team to succeed because, they deserve a little bit more shine. And it's like, no, dude. Like, if your team is good, your team is good. Then there's also the super team factors. Like, a lot of super teams in the NBA don't really pan out. I mean, KD's been on multiple super teams and it has not panned out. Was it LeBron's been on one super team and it has not panned out. Um, no, well, it did pan out. He ended up winning multiple NBA championships, but I mean, since then it has not panned out. You know, it's just, bro, it's unbearable to watch. And the playoffs, obviously, with the injuries and the load management and so many other stuff, even the play-in, I don't fucking like the play-in. I think they should have got rid of that after the bubble incident. But I'm not been a fan of the play-in. I think it's worthless. I think it's useless. Even the All-Star game, bro, they've had to change it because guys weren't given effort. Guys were just like, going through the motions. I remember when PK Zuban actually spoke about that. He's like, dude, what are you playing for? Like, you don't have to go through the motions like, like, like in the NBA, you go through the motions. You don't have to do that in the NHL. The NHL, like, we take pride in playing for our team. We take pride in playing for the city. We take pride in knowing that, yes, I might get hurt, I might get banged up, but I'm gonna still bust my ass to still get out there and perform and literally go toe to toe with you guys. That's what I like about the NHL because they're not. They literally stay to their identity, whereas the NBA, they actually lost their identity. Now it's more 3 point um, pro, and it's less about the mid range. It's more about, okay, like, we're not using our bench as much, but in the NHL, there's shifts. There's certain shifts in the line, in the core, that you might see bench players come out and they can still like do great things. You know, uh, shit. I watched what was it? The dude. There was a dude in Philly, and he absolutely played amazing in that Pittsburgh series. Reason why the Philly beat Pittsburgh, they were up 3-0, and then obviously Pittsburgh responded. They didn't want to get swept, so they fought back. But they knew that they were overpowered. They knew they knew time was ticking, but they still went out fighting. There's just so many things wrong with the NBA, and I don't know if it will ever get fixed. But I can tell you this much: the NBA is starting to lose their grip. Like he said this about a year ago, but I'm gonna say it now. The NBA is starting to lose their grip. The viewership is down. The competitive aspect is not there. The rivalries are not there. Like they in reality, that Philly Boston series is not a rivalry. Yay, they won for the first time. Whatever, dude. It's not a rivalry. Like, Boston has owned them for years. Like, you can say, like, Montreal and Boston, they hate each other. Montreal and Toronto, they hate each other. What is it? Boston and Florida hate each other. Boston and Tampa hate each other. Shit, even Boston and, what is it? New York, the Islanders. Like, dude, I went to the New York Islanders Boston Bruins game last year, and it was a preseason game. But they still fought hard because those two are the original 6 members, and they still hate each other. They hate each other in a meaningless preseason game, and they still gave effort. That's all I want, dude. Like, give me effort. Don't give me bullshit. Don't go through the motions. Don't force games. Don't make unnecessary bullshit worse. And that's hurting the brand. With the NHL, I haven't really seen that. I've seen the brand actually show because I'm seeing effort. I'm seeing fight. I'm seeing passion. I'm seeing everything that the NHL is, and I'm starting to like it more. Um, that's why I like guys like Alex Ovechkin and Connor McDavid and Pasternak. Even when Bergeron was playing, I liked him because he obviously he's from my hometown, but he he played for my hometown, but obviously he gave it all in the he put it on the he put it all on the line. There's a lot of injuries he had, but he put it on the line. KD, he's out for game 6, he's out for game 5, and they should have been swept, dude. Like, come on. Yeah, bro, I'm done with the NBA. If you do like this video, if you do want to see more videos like this, please make sure you go hit that like button. Make sure you go subscribe to the channel for more. I will be doing, I think my first NHL coverage tomorrow, because tomorrow's Game 7 of the Montreal Tampa Bay series. So I'll give you my opinion on that. I'll talk about that in full depth. And yeah, it's going to be my first time actually discussing hockey on this channel. And, I hope it's refreshing for the newer audience. I hope it's refreshing for the newer viewers on my channel. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys. You don't know how much I appreciate you guys. Please make sure to go hit that like button. Make sure to go subscribe to the channel for more. And I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.